Hello, my beautiful, good smelling people. We need to talk. I have been avoiding this topic for as long as I could. Honestly, I just didn't want to get into that. I didn't really want to talk about it much because it just maybe not the zone of my interests, but I still get comments, especially under the short form videos about recommend me do, recommend make long, da 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 da. I don't know. I feel like people who watch my long form videos, they just kind of get the vibe and they understand what to expect and what to not expect, what not to expect, right? and they know it's not the place where I recommend this kind of things. I just don't. And I'm not trying to get all judgmental here, okay? Because somebody also wrote in the comments recently that it's kind of a snobby taste or something like this. Yeah, okay, I'll take it. I'll take it. I don't think there's anything bad with that because I don't speak poorly about things. So let's talk. Let's talk about dupes and clones, finally. And at first, let's make sure that we are aligned on the lingo. I specifically went and Googled, what is a dupe? Listen, it's important. An affordable alternative that captures the essence or style of a popular luxury scent. So dupe is an inspiration in a way. What is a clone? Here's the main difference. A perfume designed to replicate the exact scent profile, DNA, of a high-end fragrance. This is a copy, period. So dupes and clones, slightly different. Dupe is like, oh, got inspired, want to create something like that, or close to it. And clone, like, no, legit, let's copy it, but let's figure it out how, So I have about 5 points to talk about here. Why I don't buy dupes and clones, but there is one tricky. The last point will be kind of tricky because it will be about the mess with designer in niche houses that try to trick us. Stay tuned. So imagine you went to a wonderful fragrant store. You found an interesting brand that you were curious about. You decided to go check it out. You're excited because finally you can smell the scents. You tried the first one, it's nice. Second one, yeah, nice, but maybe not for me. Third one, something clicks. Your imagination starts spiraling, imagining things. Your body feels the pleasure. Your nose is in heaven. And you think, okay, I need this thing. I need this thing in my life. I want to smell like it. I want to tell everybody about it or nobody. I want to keep it a secret, but I want to obsess over it. And you turn the bottle upside down to see the price. And you see the cruel numbers. The evil 3 numbers. $325 before tax, of course, if you're in the US. You put the bottle back, look at it, and think, I don't know, maybe there's a dupe there or something. Because I think many people had these thoughts, and there's nothing wrong about it. The prices for fragrances are ridiculous. And there's nothing right, or maybe wrong, but nothing right about it for sure. So that's how the thoughts about getting into the dupe category or clone category evolve in the heads of people. The first point that I want to make against dupe and clones is the emotional gap. It can be 90% there, but there's still this nasty 10% that is just like, you fell in love with something, and when you fall in love with something, it can be like imperfect, it can be weird, it can be funky, it can be unique in its own way. And this uniqueness, this something, the essence, the perfumers or the brand's DNA, this kind of a touch, this handwriting of a perfumer sometimes, it's what makes it special, because it's usually, in most cases, it's made by a human who put his heart and soul in this thing, in a bottle, right? And in most cases, I think, especially if we're talking about some really great works, there's a heart, soul, sweat, and tears inside, So this 10% is that soul, is that love that your grandma says that she just puts love. She doesn't say that's extra butter or something. She says love, and it's the same thing. So there's always something missing, something lacking from the dupes. At least that's what I noticed, because I smelled some. I did smell some dupes, and sometimes they made pretty well and they're good, but it's just not the original. Which brings me to the second point, the psychology of almost. You know, when with a fragrance, for example, let's take this Organza by Givenchy. It's an experience. You take this bottle in your hands and you kind of already get the mood and the vibe, you know, if it's done right, if the marketing works. And you, squeaky. Okay. And you get the vibe. You open it, you smell it, you spray it, and you get the whole experience as it was meant to. Honestly, it's not always the case. Sometimes I personally have to get decants, especially now, and I don't get the full experience, but at least the juice is this, right? Like what it's supposed to be. So I just want to speak pro the full experience. I don't want to talk about decants maybe now, or like samples, but this is an experience. This is what makes it unique. This is what the vibe, you know, like, I don't know what bottles. I mean, you take an amouage bottle, right? You know, it's amouage. It's kind of like just stunning. It's beautiful. Somebody spent a lot of time designing this, thinking about the perfect green color. Or I don't know, like Killian is also such a simple, but you know it's Killian and you gotta know what to expect. Like, it works. Marketing still works. And I don't know, with dupes, especially the bottles, they're so ugly sometimes. They're like really ugly and plasticky, and they break, and I don't know. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan. I know that there are some brands that make decent bottles that they're not always so good, to be honest. They're not. They're just not. Okay? And this leads to the next point that I'm concerned about too. It's overconsumption. Because they're so cheap. If you can get Delina for $24.99, why would you get the Delina for $300? Which I get. I get it. I get it. Especially apart from the Marly. I don't always think they're worth it. Anyways, it's another topic, worth it or not worth it. I'm not really talking about this now, but sorry, I'm changing my, I've been sitting on my leg and I fell asleep. So what I was saying, because they're so cheap, people usually put more in the cart, you know, because it feels like, oh, you're doing such a good deal. For example, it's the same trick with companies when you get a free delivery after you spend $80 or $100 on the website, right? And you're like, oh, I'll better put something for like $50 there instead of paying for like $6 for the delivery, right? It's such a good deal. Oh my God. I tricked them. Sure, you did, honey. I feel like people tend to buy more of those bottles and then they just end up not using it. In most cases, at least this is what I heard from many people, that they bought this 7 dupes and first they were excited and they felt like they tricked the system, but then they just don't really use them, at least like 6 out of 7. And it's just clutter, it's overconsumption, it's plastic, it's crazy. And I know I have a lot of bottles. I do have a lot of bottles, I do. But also I'm a content creator too. It's kind of hard to create content when you don't have something to create it with. And yeah, plus I have a rotation and I buy and sell used fragrances a lot too. And I think that it's not, you should just be very smart about it. You should be super smart and cautious about it. You should know what you're doing if you buy used, for sure. It's very easy to buy a fake. One time I realized that I got a fake, but it was like a small thing. Like, okay, whatever. It was not the end of the world. I just got smarter and more cautious. So just want to warn you, right? And yeah, I'm not a fan of like stacking unnecessary stuff. Like now, if I buy something, it's something that I really love. And I became an oversprayer, so I use a lot too. So I go through my bottles much faster. Oh my God. Okay, yes, I'm an oversprayer now. Sorry, I keep touching my hair. You know, I'm just like, I don't know why I'm doing it. Maybe I'm not feeling confident enough today, but whatever. Another point here, apart from plastic, waste, blah, blah, is that some of these brands, they're not really regulated, and they are not required. So the formula is protected. So you don't have to exactly write what's in your formula there on the back of the, not the bottle, like the box, right? They write usually alcohol and like some other names, but they're not very detailed about what's in this bottle. You don't always know what's there, and some brands could put like good materials that won't harm you, but some brands can put like not good materials that you'll have reactions, rashes, stuff like that. We don't want it. Big companies like Estee Lauder and so on and so forth, LVMH, they can be kind of evil. We know that. Everybody knows that they don't always do the right thing. But at least they're heavily regulated, and they cannot put anything there that would really harm you. And with this dupe and clone brands, that like they're just masses of those now, you never know exactly what's there. So I would be really cautious too about this, because you don't know if there's something that can harm your skin or your health, right? You don't want that. And my last point here, that is actually against designer and niche brands, that they dupe each other too. Nasty things. They do that too. You go to Sephora and smell Burberry hair. What does it remind you of? Baccarat Rouge. You know, sometimes perfumers bring it like similar formulas to different brands. Sometimes brands ask, like Fleur Narcotique at some point became such a hit. Now everybody else wanted to have Fleur Narcotique. Brands want money, brands want profit, understandable, okay. But they do it a lot and more and more and more recently. So it's kind of against all brands now, because I guess I'm talking about maybe Middle Eastern dupes, like those brands, like maybe, I don't know, some others. Middle Eastern are just maybe the biggest, most known and popular category here, but I'm sure there are others. I just don't know. Big brands do that too. Big, respected brands, you know. Parfum de Marly does it, okay? And everybody, like, okay, not everybody, not every brand does it, but many, many, many do. Ganymede is a very popular melody right now too. And I understand when it's an inspiration. In certain cases, I can understand. Sometimes a brand is really inspired by, let's say, Shalimar or Mitsuko or Angel, some legendary scent, and they try to kind of play upon it to create something of that kind. For example, in my recent video, I've just been talking about J Scent, the sumo wrestler, that is definitely inspired by Shalimar, but the experience of wearing this is very different than Shalimar. So even though I know Shalimar very well, and I know the history, I know the iconic title of Shalimar, I understand the inspiration, but it definitely doesn't smell like Shalimar. This can happen, and I don't mind that. I don't mind that at all. But when it's like a legit in your face copy, it's kind of ew. I don't really like that. So I guess you can understand. So what do you think, guys? How do you feel about it? How do you feel about dupes, clones? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there are points where I'm wrong. Prove me wrong. Tell me something. Tell me what you think. I want to know, because I think it's a good place for a debate. It's a good place for different opinions. All are welcome here. Please don't think that anybody will be judgmental, and please be nice in the comments. No arguments, just like a good productive argument, you know, when you can like actually have a conversation. And I'll see you in other videos. Bye bye.